My company's closed more than $75 million in sales, and here's 3 simple reverse psychology hacks that we've used to do it. Hack number 1 is what I call the no means yes close. And it's interesting because we're asking a question designed to get a no from the prospect, but that no ultimately means yes. And you'll see what I mean here in just a moment. The reason we do this is that it allows the prospect to feel like they're still in control, like they still maintain decision-making power, and they maintain their autonomy while we ultimately get what we want. A simple example of this is something I might do in the evening when my girl and I are sitting down to watch a movie. She's really not into action films, but if there's a new action film that's recently come out, I might say something to the effect of, babe, would you be totally opposed to watching the new Top Gun movie tonight? To that, she's most likely gonna say, well, I'm not totally opposed to it. And that night we're gonna watch Top Gun. Now I have to hope she doesn't see this video because now I'm caught. Anyway, if we're using this in a sales situation, it might look a little different. When we're opening the call, if we wanna open up and set ourselves up for the close, we might simply say, hey, assuming that our conversation goes well today and we figure out that we're a good fit, would you be totally opposed to moving forward and working together today? They're gonna say, well, no, I'm not totally opposed to that. And now we have set up the close for the end of the call. Or we can use it at the end of the conversation. Hey, listen, it's been a great conversation. I feel like, we've definitely got a lot of synergy. It seems like you're a good fit for our program. Would you be totally opposed with moving forward today? Well, no, I'm not totally opposed. And bang, we go get the sale. All right, hack number 2 is what I call the push-pull close. This is when we begin to push away the sale, which actually makes us more attractive to the prospect. A simple example of this is when the prospect might say, well, why should I choose to work with you? The push-pull close would sound something like, well, I don't really know that you should. That's why I want to take about 30 to 45 minutes on this call to really begin to understand what challenges you're facing and ensure that we can actually help you solve those challenges. Does that make sense? So you see how we're not responding directly to the question and saying, well, this is why you should work with me. Instead, we're saying, well, we don't even know that we should work together. That's why I want to have a conversation with you. And what it does is it allows the prospect to drop their defenses because it becomes very obvious that we're trying to be of best service to them rather than just trying to snake up the sale. Another example that I work on extensively with my team because it can be easy to fall for is this one. It's when a prospect gets on the phone and says, yeah, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. I watched the video, I want to go ahead and get signed up. It can be easy as a salesperson to say, all right, let me go ahead and get you the forms together and all that. But if you fall for that and you get all the way to the order forms and now the prospect sees the price or whatever and goes, well, can you explain this and this to me again? Well, now you're gonna be caught up in the conversation where you're trying to explain the features and really you have no leverage to fall back on. What are you gonna do now? Say, oh wait, hold on, let's go back to the beginning. Can you explain to me again what problems you're experiencing? So we don't want to rush into the sale. So when somebody comes to the conversation hot and ready to go, what we ultimately say is, whoa, hold your horses. I totally get it that you're excited. However, the purpose of this conversation is to make sure that we're going to be a good fit to work together on a long-term basis. So I really want to make the most of this 30 to 45 minutes that we have together. Does that make sense? And then we're going to push the sale away a little bit, but ultimately it makes us more attractive because the prospect sees we're not just trying to, get their credit card number and run the order form. We're trying to make sure that we're going to actually be able to service them. All right, hack number 3 is something that I call role reversal. And this is typically used best in B2C conversations. The goal of this technique is to get the prospect selling themselves to us versus us trying to sell to the prospect. The way that we set this up is typically in the opening where we're going to say something to the effect of, hey, by the way, we have about 30 to 45 minutes for this conversation. And the goal of this conversation is really to assess whether or not you're going to be a good fit for our program. Does that make sense? Now, by asking the question, does that make sense? It's a simple question. Does what I just said make sense? You're almost always going to get a yes. However, when they say yes, they're also accepting the fact that it is now their job to sell themselves to us versus us trying to sell to them. It flips the roles and puts the pressure on the prospect versus on the salesperson. So listen, if you got value out of this, then I have good news. In a moment, I'm gonna link to other sales trainings right here alongside this video. In the meantime, make sure that you hit subscribe, hit that little bell notification so you get notified every week when I drop more content like this. And by the way, my name is Keala Kanae. I'm an entrepreneur who got started just a few short years ago while working in a coffee shop for minimum wage. And today I've gone on to run multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses. And I'm not saying that to brag or boast. I'm saying it so that you know that everything I share on my channel comes from real world applied knowledge that has helped me create those results. And I share it here in hopes that it helps you create similar results as well. So go ahead and hit that little subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you get notified every week and watch the next sales trainings that are about to pop up.